So what do you do if you see Mama kissing Santa Claus? Well, we're not going to talk about that right now, but with Dr. Karyn Gordon, what we're going to talk about is parenting our parents, because Christmas is a difficult time of year, especially if you're a new couple and you each separately have kids,
right,
or you're a new parent and you come into that situation to your parents and now kids are involved and a lot of things happen because you want to train your kids a certain way, you work hard. And now parents throw everything out of the mix.
You know, I loved it when we were talking before the break in terms of, it's like creating a Christmas strategy plan.
Mm-hmm.
It's really creating a Christmas strategy plan. I find, I mean, this time can be an amazing time. It can be such a stressful time.
Mm-hmm.
And not just for the new couples. Couples, I mean, people have a lot of history. And for a lot of people, this time is very, very difficult. So tip number one is that what I recommend for couples is think about the last Christmas or holiday season.
Yeah.
What worked, what didn't work. And so what I find is when we're working with couples or families, that there are certain topics that come up as quite contentious. Mm-hmm. Things around food, pop, vaccinations, sleeping, discipline, presents,
yeah,
how big, you know, like there's certain kind of topics that actually kind of come up. So you want to try to have strategy number one is actually, or tip number one is you really want to figure out what are those topics that actually came up, okay? Tip number two is you actually want to talk to your spouse and say, what's going to be our expectation? What's going to be our boundary? You want to get on the same page with your spouse.
Not so almost like guidelines.
It's almost like a guideline,
yeah,
so that you're really going to be coming at it from a united front. And you don't want your spouse to be talking to your parents, that's your job.
Right.
But you still want to make sure that you're actually on the same page.
Right. So you go into it on the same page. You have a little bit of a strategy.
Yes.
But then do you discuss these expectations with your parents to say, this is what we want for our kids this year. This is why we're doing it.
Right.
They're having difficulties at school, maybe paying attention.
Yes.
We're trying to eliminate pop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tip number three is then once you kind of know with what that boundary expectation is going to be, is that you have to actually now talk to your parents about it. So this is really, really important. It has to be the biological child talking to their parents.
Okay.
It is not the job of the new wife or the new husband on, like, it really is important that the biological child is actually talking to their parents. And the best way to do it, a couple things, is realizing it, as I've worked with families for over 20 years, I have found that most parents, they've got good hearts, right? Like, you know, if they want to give the extra pop or the, you know, the extra, they're doing it out of a generous spirit. Yeah. So we have to really kind of enter that conversation, realizing that this is not malicious, they're really coming from it a good place, and also realizing that they cannot read our mind. So it's always kind of good to, when you're walking into that conversation, to kind of have that. And try not making a big deal. Don't make it like this big kind of confrontation. You can be, as we call it, carefrontation.
Yeah.
Right? Carefrontation. It's like you're caring enough to actually talk about it. And then be very specific, but I would always start with something that's really positive. So for example, if one of the things that you're trying to teach your kids is around money management, and you're really concerned about how much money your parents are going to be giving to your kids, you can say, you know, Mom and Dad, I love your generous heart. I love your big, you know, your generous spirit. Just so you know, a little FYI, if you are going to give a monetary gift, just can you please not make it more than $25 or $50, just because otherwise it's sabotaging with what we're trying to do on the back end. Yeah. So you just explain in a very kind, respectful way, and explain why, and don't make it a big deal, and then let it go.
There you go. There you have it.
Nice and simple.
And in the end, there's always next Christmas to try it all over again.
And
if you want to reach Dr. Karyn Gordon, you can get her at drkaryn.com for more information. We'll have it on our website as well. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
Happy
You
holidays.
too.
Health and
Thank you
happiness
so
to your
much.
family.